guys, welcome to Fast Fashion. I'm your girl Fatu J, and today I have a very special guest with me, Vivian.
Hey guys, I'm Vibewithviv. That's for Vision, Inspiration, Believe in Empowerment.
I love that.
And I'm a relationship coach. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, thank you for being here. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Who is Vivian?
Who is Vivian? That's a deep question.
And people want to know, like, who is Vivian?
That is a deep question. So who am I? So I'm from Cameroon. Originally, that's in West Africa. Close to Nigeria, if you're not familiar. So I was born in Cameroon, but raised in the U.S., have a history with health background, so I'm a nurse practitioner on the side, and then I'm also a relationship coach, so I started that after my own experiences with heartbreak and finding love, which has now led me to the Vibe with Viv.
Vibe with Viv. I like that.
Thank you.
So you are, you will graduate.
Yep.
You are not just beautiful. You also have brain.
Yes,
so that's good.
Hey, we thank God.
So you moved here from Cameroon.
From Cameroon, yeah.
So how long have you been here?
For over 20 years. I came here when I was 7 years old.
Oh my God, you're pretty much American.
Pretty
like,
much.
Do you know anything back home?
Of course. That's why everyone's surprised when I can dance. I can cook.
You can cook some Korean food.
Of course, yeah.
Really? What can you cook?
So my favorite's arrow. So my last post was some of the things I like. So there's arrow, which is, I think you guys, it's kind of like your palava sauce, kind of.
Oh, that's the Liberian.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the green, so arrow, and then we have achu. Can't go wrong with your jollof rice.
Okay, wait, you guys have a jollof rice?
Of course.
So is it all, I mean, I don't know, do all Africans have jollof rice?
Yeah, I would say we each have our own, like, little distinct similarities, but differences.
Well, that's surprising. Being here for 20 years and still remember the African culture.
Of course.
So tell me, so you say a little bit about your experience, heartbreak. So that's why you go towards being a relationship coach. Are you certified or are you just expert at it?
Yeah, so with my health background, I have some mental health experience. So I do the nurse practitioner thing. So I also work at a mental health clinic.
Okay.
So with that, I have that preparation with dealing with, like, childhood trauma and, like, just relationship and life things. And then on the life coach aspect, that just kind of transpires with that knowledge. Okay. And with life coaching, you can get certified or not. Right now, I'm not certified because I feel that with my background in health, it kind of covers for that.
Right.
And I kind of have the relationship skills and the techniques that comes with helping people, get from one stage in their relationship to another when it comes to healing. So not certified relationship coach wise, but with my nurse practitioner background and health coaching, it kind of transpires to that.
Okay. So can you tell me since you're a relationship coach, so a lot of people out there, ladies, guys, they want to know, like, what's a healthy relationship like? Like, what would you consider to be a healthy relationship?
Yeah, a healthy relationship comes with peace. I think a lot of people are looking for what's healthy based off of what is seen from outside. But if you're not at peace within and who you are and with your partner, that's not healthy. So we try to put on this facade of we're happy, we're good, when, like, inside within us we're unhappy. Imagine going on vacation, best place in the world, and you're in an argument with your partner.
Ooh, yeah, I hear
That's
that.
the worst feeling ever.
Exactly.
So a healthy relationship starts with you. That's one of my biggest motto. A healthy relationship starts with you. Being in tune with yourself, being confident with who you are, the way you're created. Once you're in tune with yourself and your partner is with that at the same level, you can build that healthy communication, healthy relationship. So everything starts from within.
So everything starts within yourself. Because I feel like some people feel like if you're not happy, you can't make somebody else happy.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's all starts with a healthy relationship as well. So tell me, like, what has been your most challenging client that you ever dealt with? Like, who are your most difficult clients? I should say, like, it's gonna be females or male.
So I only work with females.
Oh, wait a minute.
Only females.
Okay, what about the guys? I'm sure the guys need some, like, relationship advice.
They can see all my posts and glean whatever they need to get from that. But when it comes to the one-on-one coaching, I work with just women. Just because I feel like I can relate with them better. I can understand them. I've kind of walked through that path with them, at some point. So I serve women.
You serve only
Only women. But guys can read the post and can learn from it. Yeah.
But my thing is, if you been through it, you have experience with heartbreak, you will know. You should coach a guy how to love a woman, how to be in a healthy relationship. So I feel like if you have both, like, client, male and female, maybe, I don't know, like, I'm just thinking, you think that will be better, or you just feel like, okay, I'm related to the females, I'm just gonna stick with the females. The guys break my heart, I don't want to help them.
So I think that men, they need, work too. Like, there's no one population that needs more work than the other. My heart just lays in with the women, because I know I've been there, kind of done that, and I can provide them with that transition because I've been there from that experience. So, hey, men, like, you need it. I feel you, and I'm sure there's a coach out there for you.
But this is not the one.
But it's not for me. That's right.
So tell me, what is your most successful story when it comes to your client? Do you have a client that comes back and say, oh my God, I totally listened to what you said, I totally listened to your coaching and it works? Like, do you have that one successful client that always come back and testimony?
Yep. So I work particularly with women who are going through heartbreak, so women who have gone through a relationship, a separation, women who are trying to find love and just that self-love, clarity in their who they are and when it comes to relationships. So the last person I worked with was going through a healing process after a breakup with a boyfriend. And so the program is a 7-week program, and so we meet weekly through virtual, the computer, so virtually. And each week we have intense conversations, heart-to-heart things, and working on different things. And since we've worked together, she's had this transition of just feeling valued and knowing who she is and how to set boundaries in relationships right from the get-go and picking up on those red flags. So red flags are always there if we pay attention to them. So she's been able to transition from this place of feeling like, I don't know what I'm going to do, this is the worst thing that's going to happen to me so far, to a place where it's like, you know what, I'm going to be okay. I've learned the tools I need now, and knowing what my value is, knowing my why, and being okay and content, being in a singleness right now, and being okay with that. So she will randomly email me and say, hey, this is where I'm at now. What do you think? She wants to do like a month checkup just to see where she's doing. So, yeah, she keeps up and keeps me involved in some of her life decisions, which
really
is nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Is she single?
The person? Yeah, she is single. Okay. So hers was working on healing after that breakup. Okay. Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, how can you heal after a tough breakup? Like, when would you know that, okay, I'm completely healed, it's time for me to move on to the next relationship? Like, what the period of time that can you give yourself? Like, for example, me, I was just sharing my story with you off the camera. What would you say that will help me heal, or what would you say that how long will it take for me to heal and move on to the next relationship?
So that's really dependable on each person. Depends on the situation, what happened, and everyone is unique, but there are certain steps that need to be followed in order to help ease that process of healing. And the first thing is really accepting and acknowledging that you are hurting. A lot of people want to skip that feeling and kind of move on to mask it, but you really need to step back and say, hey, someone just broke up with me, I'm hurt, I just need to cry and be okay.
Just break down and cry.
Yeah, you have to. So you need to be real with those emotions. So there are different steps that you have to follow. How long it takes you for each step, it's dependable on each person.
But what's the first step that
you need to accept those feelings, recognize it's real, and just feel it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the next step after that? Yeah. Let's say, like, most of us try. Let's say we cover up a hurt with a new relationship.
Yep.
Would you say that's a bad idea?
That's a very bad idea. Yeah.
Can you find love if you were still in love with somebody else?
You can have multiple lovers.
Really?
You can have multiple lovers. So there's this notion that we find the one, right? A lot of people go with that notion, but honestly, the way God designed it is like different people will come in your life at different times, I could be a potential great partner with person A or with person B. I have to decide who my one is. So there are many people that you could potentially love
at the same time,
almost at the same time.
Okay.
But you have to be the one to decide who my one is.
That's true.
But like, if you're still in love with someone else and you're trying to find another love, you're causing yourself and that person for a setup and a failure in your relationship. So, yes, you can find another love. Is it a healthy love? No.
No. Okay. So then you need time to heal and completely get over that person.
Absolutely.
Before you can move on to the next one.
Right.
Okay. So tell me, I know most of the time we when we get heartbreaks, right? When sometimes somebody breaks your heart, it's hard for somebody to move on. It's hard for somebody to trust again. Like that, a client of yours, she knows her values, her worth, what she can look for when it comes to men. So what would you say to people who feel like, okay, I've been there, I've been hurt, I don't think I can find love again?
I would say it starts in your mind. A lot of our battles start in our minds. So if that thought is you're not going to be able to find somebody else again, guess what? You're not going to be able to find somebody else again because you've already limited yourself in your mind. But is that true? No, and it doesn't have to be true for you. So it starts with renewing your mindset. So another way to look at it is like, hey, I've had a bad relationship experience. Does that mean they'll all be like that? No. Yeah. Right? So it's just changing the mind and those experiences in a way where you can see an outlet to it. Yeah. So our biggest battles start in our mind, and once you can renew your mind with those positive affirmations, you can see the world in a different way, and then things can start beginning to align for you and your desires.
That's true. But yeah. I'm going to go to you personally.
Yeah.
So can you share a little bit of experience of your heartbreak and how did you get over that?
Yep, absolutely. So my heartbreak, it occurred over a year. So I was...
Oh, in a year?
Yeah. So it's not anything recent. It's a while ago. It was a year relationship where in my mind, I think sometimes as women, when we start talking to a guy, we think that, ooh, this person likes me and they're ready to commit. And then we keep, putting on the benefit of the doubt, giving our all, when the other person is not really reciprocating it back. So I was in one of those, I guess you would call situationships, where, where, you think you're in a relationship, but it's not very well defined, and I keep, trying to put in my best work, and the person's not reciprocating it. That went on for about a year. I realized that he was also talking to other women, through like social media, and my friends at that time were saying, hey, he tried talking to this person, and I'll be like, no, I don't believe it, he wouldn't do that.
We always ignore the red flags.
Yeah, we ignore it, exactly, when they're always there and present, it's like when they say, when someone shows you who they are from the beginning, believe it. Like, that's who they really are. I think a lot of the times as women, or just people in general, we live thinking like, oh, this person is going to change. Yes. And I'm expecting that to change, and then that's your reality. Yeah. But no, like, you need to pay attention to them now. Like, that's who they are now.
That's true.
So I miss a lot of those red flags, and then I kept through that for a year, kind of wasting my time, and then at one point I got fed up, and I'm like, talking to myself, I'm like, Vivian, like, why are you putting yourself through this? Like, is this what you want for your life? So then I, hit him up, and I was like, hey, I want to be in a relationship with you, but if you don't want to, just let me know. And he said, okay. That was the one word reply, just okay.
That's it?
That was it. He was like, okay.
Wow. That was cold.
And that was pretty much like the end of it. So it was hurtful because I'm like, hey, I have so much going on for me. Why wouldn't he want to be with me?
Yeah.
And stuff. And just the way it ended, it just showed like he never really cared about me. But yet I was pouring out my heart and trying to make it work.
And you're not receiving.
And it wasn't reciprocated at all. And he was talking to other people at the same time. So, yeah.
That's crazy. So from there to now being a relationship coach, giving women relationship advice, what they should look for, what kind of red flag you should pay attention to. Because when we are in love, we always tend to ignore those red flags.
Yeah.
It sometimes it's there, and it's like right there on our face, but we just ignore it. And also hoping that the person will change for the better. And like Kenya will say, if somebody tell you who they are, don't believe them. If they, I think they show you who they, believe who they, I don't know, I forgot what I said. Like, I mean, believe the person if they show you who they are. But not like saying, oh, I'm a good person, but the opposite, they're showing you a totally different person. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give to women out there who are in a situationship that they can't seem to get out of because hoping that the guy will change?
Yeah. I say one of the biggest things is to be aligned with who you are. What does that mean? It means knowing your truth and your value. So once you know who you are, your values are, that's your guiding post. That's what's guiding you with your directions, with what decisions to make.
Yes.
So if the person you're with is not aligning with your truth and your values, you know what you need to do. Your instinct is already telling you, like, something's up. As soon as you get that feeling like something is up, something's not right, pay attention to it. Because that's like the direction. It's directing you for what to do. And because a lot of us miss listening to that voice within, that's why we end up in certain situations that we could have avoided if we would have listened to that inner being. So be aligned with your truth and your value. Use that as a direction to help you, guide you. And whenever you get that voice within you telling you something's not right, listen to it and take action based off of that inner spirit.
Oh my God, yes, that's. I feel like you were just talking to me. Like, I feel like seriously, because sometimes you see those and like your inner voice is telling you that something is not right.
Yeah.
You know, something doesn't seem right, but then you keep ignoring, keep saying no, I'm tripping. You know, but deep down, it's not. So let's say people, when you out of a relationship, you take time to heal.
Yep.
So in order for the person not to fall back onto the old relationship habit, what can they do to make sure that the next guy will be the one for them?
So that comes with part of the healing. So another step in that healing process is reflecting.
Okay.
So you have to reflect on the role that you played in it and the role the other person played in it. Because it takes two people, right?
Yes.
It takes two. So you really have to sit back and say, this is the areas that I missed, acknowledge that, and then come up with a game plan. So that's where we work through with the people when I do my coaching sessions. These are the areas that you missed, right? So how can we make sure we don't repeat that again? So it's reflecting on it, identifying that, and coming up with a game plan with how you're not going to try and repeat some of those things again. And hey, we're all humans, right? So we're bound to make some of those mistakes again. But as much as we can eliminate it or decrease it, like, that's better for us overall. So reflect, address it, and identify your game plan.
Okay, let's say you're in a relationship with somebody. I'm wearing yellow because yellow is endometriosis. March is endometriosis month.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely celebrating me and celebrating all the women out there who are suffering with endometriosis. I just want to say, stay strong. Let's keep praying. Let's keep fighting, and let's keep raising awareness. And hopefully one day the doctors will take us serious and find a cure for endometriosis. So what would you say for a woman who's dating a guy, and the woman is, let's say for example, I have endometriosis, right? Like, I'm dating somebody, or I marry somebody, and then the person is not very value, you know, who you are and and what you're going through. Like, how can you break free from that relationship without hurting yourself?
So in essence, you're saying that if someone is in a relationship and they have a health issue going on, and the person they're with is not supportive of them and what they're going through, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when it comes to that, again, it goes back to knowing who you are and what you're willing to accept and not accept, right? So my biggest things when it comes to leaving and separating, you know, you want to make sure you're doing it in a safe way. So safety is always important with whatever your exit plan is. So if you're in an area where you're not safe, I want you to try and seek, you know, an outside support. There's always like different counselors who can get you that assistance. And let's say now you're in a place where you are safe. So then have that conversation with that person, right? And now let's say you've had these number of conversations and it's not going anywhere and this person's not able to support you. You have to love yourself enough to step back to take care of yourself, because you only have one life. and it's your health.
Yes.
So you need to take care of you. Because if you don't take care of you, who else can take care of yourself?
Nobody.
No one. So you need to protect your well-being and step out if you need to for your own sake. Because how can you heal if you're stressed, right? That's stress true. Causes actually more inflammation in our bodies and more problems. So if you're in a stressful area, just know you're not helping yourself heal at all. Your cortisol levels are going up. You know, your epinephrine and your fight or fight. So you're in the state where it's not promoting growth and healing. So make sure it's a safe situation. Speak with them. If it doesn't change, love yourself enough to step back.
Okay, that's really good.
Yeah.
I really like that. So tell me a little bit more. I'm gonna go back to this situationship because I know a friend who's in that situation, but it's like, is there a way that you can tell the guy, or is there a way that the guy will ever change to from situationship to an actual real relationship?
I say that when they show you who they are, you best believe it. I honestly, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because again, we hold on to this thought that they will change.
Yes.
You know, and that's what keeps a lot of us in those situationships.
and stay. And they still don't change. Yep.
So, no, if someone's showing you that they're not ready to commit, believe that and step back. You know, that's easier said than done because we do want to give the benefit of the doubt. But by all means, give the benefit of the doubt for this much time, but don't let it be the rest of your life, right? So I'd rather have you hurt now than be hurt for the remaining 20, 30 years that you're together. So temporary sacrifice versus a long-term sacrifice. You pick.
So you guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about relationship and how can you fix your relationship if you're in the problem right now. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, I'm wearing yellow from head to toe because month is endometriosis month, and endometriosis, the color for endo is yellow. So I'm urging for everybody to wear yellow and post it on the Instagram page, Facebook.
Hey guys, welcome back to Fast Fashion. I'm your girl Fat2J, and today we are not talking about fashion. We're kind of switching around a little bit and focus on relationship because we all have that problem. We all have men problem or we have woman problem. We have problem in our relationship, whether it's marriage or whether being in a long-term relationship that you consider marriage, we still have that issue. So Vivian here is helping us solve that problem. How can you be happy in your relationship? What can you do? And if you are single, how can you value yourself to find that right guy? So tell me, for example, if somebody is looking for a guy, would you advise anybody to go on a dating app?
I say why not? I do,
really?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a number of friends who've actually met their spouses through a dating app.
That's funny because my cousin met her husband through a dating app.
Yep.
But at first I was like, I don't think I will ever want to be in a dating app.
I think that, relationships work differently for each person. Some people meet through mutual friends. People meet through, hey, I know this person, let's set them up. Someone walking down the park because you work with someone. There's different ways of meeting people. And I think that because the society is changing with how we meet people, online dating is a new thing, right? And people have actually made it work.
Yeah, some people
found love that way. So I wouldn't say eliminate that just because it's an online way, but it's just a different way of meeting people. So, hey, keep it open. Yeah.
So you were talking about, do you have like a section, like a relationship boot camp or some kind of a relationship section that people can come and talk to you?
Yeah, so I have the program as my Achieve Emotional Healing program. Okay. So that one is specifically for women who are, healing and just that self-love and coming to terms with things that have happened and just transitioning from that, state of emotional being weighed down to a place where they're, feeling more fulfilled, satisfied, and content with who they are and getting those skills to move forward. So that's that program. And then I also have just where if you want to pop in and just talk about anything relationship, I have hourly sessions. Okay. But my main program is the Healing, the Clarity of Mind, and Finding Love Again program. Okay. Yeah.
So it's healing.
Yeah, so I work with women who are healing.
Okay. Who just get out of a tough relationship. Okay.
Exactly. Yep. And then women who are just trying to get the clarity of who they are, the situation, that self-love, and then those who are trying to find love again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So which is say, how can you quit somebody who were in a relationship for a very long time, let's say 20 years, and then later blaming their self for the breakup? Like, how can you bring that person up? How can you help that person find herself again, knowing that the relationship, the breakup of the relationship is not her fault?
So that's a tough one in the sense where we would have to talk in what led up to the breakup, right? So each person's situation will be a little bit different, but can you have guilt after going through a breakup, separation? Absolutely. Guilt and remorse is a part of a lot of relationships, especially when you've invested 20 years or so. That is a long time. But does that guilt promote your healing? No. Does it promote your well-being? No. It doesn't take you to the next level that you would like to be in your life. So some of it is that tough love, So I provide that tough love with like, hey, this is what has happened. You need to accept it. This is what happened. The biggest thing is we can't change the past.
Yes.
But what you do have control of is your tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
So what can you do now to make sure this does not repeat itself?
Oh, amen.
That's where you get that control and you can be empowered to move forward.
I like you. Ooh. You are definitely speaking the truth, sister. That's good. Because it's like, I never like when it comes to relationship, and it's like some women don't feel like they are worthy enough to be loved, and it's like you being in a relationship and a guy constantly, not physically abusing you, but verbally can do so much damage to that person. You understand what I'm saying? So it will break the person to a point that when they move on to the next relationship, they might think that it is okay.
Right.
So how can you help that person break free from that kind of trauma?
Yeah. So that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Because as women, words, it's a lot of our love language.
Even though they say sticks and stone may not hurt, sticks and stone may hurt my bones, but words will never kill me. That's not true.
It's not. Yeah.
Because words can do more damage than anything.
Yep. So there are 5 love languages, right? So there's, physical touch, words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, and there's one more that, quality time. So those are the 5 love languages. So words of affirmation is a big love language. And if you're in a relationship where that love language is more abusive and it's not a growing and supportive thing, that can take a big toll on your mental health and who your identity is. So we have to pick through some of those words that have been said to you. Is it that you're not good enough, you're not beautiful enough, you don't get it right? Let's change that storyline because that's not your truth. That does not define who you are. So we have to go back and identify those situations, change the storyline, and make a new storyline of who you are.
Yes.
So it's a process. So that's what I'm saying. Like when I'm having these sessions with the ladies, like we are bawling.
Yeah.
Like it's a crying. Like we are being real. So like when we start, I'm like, hey, you have to be ready to be real with who you are, what you've been through, because I am just here to guide and support you. Because honestly, all the answers are within us. That's true. It just takes the pulling out of it.
I need a section with this beautiful lady right here. I do, because it's like. Okay, sometimes I'm gonna take this back to African culture, I believe, because most of us in African, you get some people are married in like arranged marriage, and some people married. You choose the person you with, you love that person, and then you get married to that person, and then as long as you marry, let's say you've been in that married for like 5 years, 6, 7, 8 years, you don't have kids with the person, then the family start to involved, say, hey, I don't think this woman is valued enough to be your wife because she can give you a child.
Right.
It's like, have you have any of those women that come to you say, hey, I'm going through this with my husband, I'm going through this with my mother-in-law, brother-in-law, I'm not having, we don't have kids, but it's like they're putting the stress and everything on me, like, what can I do? Should I go? Should I stay?
Yeah. So that, thankfully, a lot of that mindset is changing, to some extent.
Little by little.
To some
but
extent.
Some cultures are very, very still.
Right, absolutely. And I think that what a lot of people fail to understand is that infertility is not just a woman thing; it can be a man thing.
Yep.
So that's the one thing I want to lay out. Like, infertility can go for both the man, woman, both ways. So I've seen where the infertility is coming from the man, but just because of the African mentality, you know, we think it's always the woman. So my thing is, go get checked, because it may not be you as the female; it could be the man.
Or it may not be both of you. Or you might marry somebody, both of you can separate and marry somebody else, and they both end up having kids.
Right, yeah. So, but let's just say you're in a married, you know, union, and the goal is to keep the union together, you know. I would say, like, getting the professional medical advice, because infertility can occur for so many different reasons that it's not only the woman's, you know,
fault.
What the Africans say, woman's fault, you know. So let's start with that first before we start blaming, oh, it's because of you or you. You know, it could be a both thing, like both partners thing. So let's understand where the problem is coming from. And thankfully, we're in a place right now where there's more than one way where you can have a baby.
That's true.
You know?
There's so many ways that you can have a baby.
There's surrogates, you know, there's in vitro fertilizations. So there are options. So I would hate for that to be a reason why you separate when there are options to help resolve that.
That's the reason why I separated. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why that whatever happens in my relationship. And it's like, most people, I have a family member call me once and say, you're getting older, you need to have a baby. And I was like, wow. Not my family member, his side. I was like, really? Like,
that's...
You were too grown to be calling me, telling me that I need to have a baby, I'm getting old. Instead of you worrying about your family, you're worrying about me. It's just sad. And it's like, for me, I don't consider that love.
Right.
So if you're in a relationship with somebody, you should be there for better, for worse.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're married. And you need to give up the I for we or us, you know. But now, it's just, I don't know, most men just married, or most some women marry because of the benefits or whatever they're going to get out of the relationship. And if they have what they want, then they're out.
Right.
Would you consider that love, or would you consider, what would you consider that?
Yeah, so love is blind, you know. Love is blinding. Do we go in for the complete right reasons? Maybe. Do we go in for other reasons? Yes. So there's that saying, no one knows the thought or heart of mind of man. Only God knows your true you and the intentions. So, you know, I'm really sorry that you went through that.
Okay,
you know?
if I say that, that's the way of God telling me that you have to get out of this relationship. I think, even though it's not the easy way, but I feel like it was the way that God was telling me that I think it's time for you to go. I think it's time for you to live your truth. I think it's time for you to be who you supposed to be. Because I feel like I wasn't myself. And just like what you were saying, like, we ignore the red flags. Like, I see it all and I just ignore it, and I just pray that, oh, it's gonna change. You understand? But it's I feel like it's the best thing that ever happened to my life. It's like filing for divorce, even though it's not easy. But I feel like it's another way of God telling me that you have so much to offer, and there's so many things that you have to do in this world. And being in this relationship is not going to allow you to do that.
It is a very real issue. You know, having kids in a relationship, in a married relationship, it can be a deal breaker for a lot of relationships, you know. But for any woman or man going through this, you know, in any way or form, I want you to know that there are different options. And I don't want you to, you know, separate or get a divorce, you know, because of that. Because there are other options out there to having a kid. I mean, we can adopt. There are a lot of children out there.
How many African people will say that I adopt? Most people don't even believe that I believe in that. I always say that I'm going to adopt. Since when I was in high school, that's a goal for me.
So there has to be a changing of the mindset when it comes to some of these things. But there are different options, you know. First of all, like I said, go get checked, you know, where's the issue coming from, you know. It could be the man, it could be the woman, it could be both of you. It's not just a woman thing. That's one of the things I hate a lot with our African culture. It's always the woman's fault. No, it's not. Infertility can come from the man as well. So go get medical check and advice. And then after that, there are different options, right? So some of those other options can be a little bit expensive, but if your goal is to be with this person and you love your partner, you will make it work.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. Like, it will make your relationship stronger. So what are some of those options? Yeah, we talked about adopting. So adopting is an option. There's fertilization. So that's where, they implant the eggs. And I've had people and seen people who have had babies that way in their 40s. And that's how they had their baby. There's surrogate. So there are different options and opportunities to utilize because we're in the U.S. to still have a baby.
So that's what I say. It's like, if the person, like you just mentioned all the options that you can have a baby, you can go through and have a baby. But if the person is like, no, I'm not going to go through that. I'm going to find somebody else. Then that right there will tell you that, okay, that's not love. It's not. That wasn't love from the beginning.
Yeah. Right.
Because just like you said, if you wanted to be with a person that said, oh, this is a person that I love, that would make you guys stronger, and work together towards it, and make the relationship even better than before. But if you say, oh, we're not having kids, I'm gonna go and marry another woman or bring another woman in a relationship, and if you see it in the African way, in African culture, it's always the man leaving the woman because of it. And it's always the woman who will stick around if the man was the one having issue.
Right.
You understand? But now I see a couple that were married for 20 years. She's a makeup artist. I was having a photo shoot. And says, I've been married to my husband for 20 years. And we never have kids. I was like, wow. She was like, yeah, we did everything. We tried everything. And we were even thinking about, adopting a child. But then we realized that maybe God doesn't want us, to be a parent. And so it was like, this make us stronger. My husband and I love each other more than anything. And I see people that wasn't an option. They just decided to, to separate and go their separate ways. But for me, I feel like if the love is real and you love the person, that will definitely make you stronger and not break you. So, another thing I'm going to ask you is, if a lady been through all the ups and downs, the emotion, the, verbal abuse, and stuff like that, like, healing might take time.
Yes.
So how many sessions can the person schedule with you to get that mindset and love themselves again and be who they are and start working on themselves?
So my program is a 7-week program.
Okay.
So during that 7 weeks, we are we are meeting each week. So with an hour session each. Prior to each session, there's a workbook that the person is working through to just get some of those questions and thoughts out, because we are literally pulling them out, right? So there's a workbook that you go through. You're answering these questions, and then we meet during the week. And we have our crying session and growth
you have a crying session?
Literally. Because, like I said, these things are heavy. They've gone through a lot of things. We've gone through a lot of things that we're not being heard and listened to.
Yes, that's true.
So, these sessions can be, in depth, and each person's case is different. So we meet each week. And then throughout that period, I am accessible to you 24 hours.
Okay.
You can email or text me with anything that comes up. I'm there to support you throughout this period. Sometimes it takes someone outside of the situation to help pull you out and help you see it different and heal from it. Okay. So you may have people that you talk to, which is great, but seeking help outside of the people it's also important.
Yeah. That's what me and my friends were just talking about. Sometimes it's good to have a friend that makes you happy, makes you laugh, and it's also good to see a professional help.
Absolutely.
Because mental health takes a while for you to heal and come back to your normal self.
Right.
Especially things happen. Like, for me, my situation, the way it happened is I was blindsided. I didn't know anything what was going on. I just sit one day and somebody called me and said, your husband is married. I'm like, what? No. It was like I didn't believe it. I was like, no, his family will never do that. Maybe he will, but his family will never allow him to do, what I'm saying? Like, they would never allow him to do that without, forcing him to talk to me first. But, stuff like that is crazy. But let's talk about your section. So
Yeah.
how much does it cost for somebody to sign up for it?
Yep. So I like to have the conversation with the person first and
Okay.
see if they're a good fit for the program.
Oh, okay.
So I usually like to, not that I don't want to say, but we want to make sure you're a good fit before we go into the details of it. But I would just say it's no more than 1,000 because I want it to be affordable for people who need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's absolutely good. So how can people find you? Like, if
Yeah.
somebody's interested in working with you, like me personally, I'm already booking my session with her. Like, I love her. I love everything she say here. This is just 100% truth, and you are honest, and I really like that.
Thank you.
So if somebody want to set a section with you, book an appointment, how can they find you?
So I have a website. It's called Vibewithviv.com. So that's VIB with Viv, VIV.com. And you can go on there and schedule a session with me. And Vibe means vision, inspiration, belief, and empowerment. My goal is to help you dream again, you know, be inspired, believe in yourself, and encourage you and empower you to do what you want to do. So that's where the vibe comes in. So Vibe with Viv.
That's good. So any advice out there, something that I didn't ask you, or something that we didn't talk about that you want to talk about?
We talked about it, but this is one of my biggest truth. It's just that love starts with you. A healthy relationship starts with you. That's one of the foundational things that I talk about with my sessions and even on any of the things I talk about. So loving yourself and being in tune with yourself, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly, being able to accept that, work through that, because a healthy relationship starts with you. Before you can teach someone how to love you, how you want to be in a relationship, you got to do that for yourself first. So start doing those things now. Take yourself out, you know, exercise, get your finances right.
Yes.
Do you, you know, like when I met my husband, I was doing
Oh,
me.
you married?
I am married.
I didn't even ask you that. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
How long have you been married?
For almost 2 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
You see? Ladies, you're going to call her.
Yeah, so you really just have to do you, love yourself, work through those things, and the right person will meet you.
Okay, so guys, I'm sorry, it's off the ask. So, where did you meet your husband? And I know a lot of people want to know. It's like she's a relationship coach, and I feel as a host for not asking her if she's married.
We met in undergrad, so at school. Yep.
Oh, nice. And how long did you guys date?
We dated for 4 years, and then got married in 2018. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Wow,
2018. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So would you say that you're a happy, healthy relationship and a happy and healthy?
Yep, I would say that. So
That's good.
peace starts from within.
That's
so when you set it for yourself, it's bound to exude to the outside.
That's good, because like sometimes we feel like we depend on the other person to be happy.
Yep.
We depend on the other person to find our true self, not knowing that what you just said is like everything start within yourself.
Yep.
You know, because like if let's say right now I'm fine. I've been breakup since May. So if I somebody just jump into a relationship hoping that that person will make them happy, do you think that relationship would fail?
It will fail.
Yeah.
Maybe not right away, but it will, because none of us are perfect.
Yeah.
So the idea of thinking that this person you're with will, you know, continually add joy to you does not happen, because we're humans. We're bound to fall short in some way, shape, or form, right?
Yeah, sure.
So if you go in with that notion this person is going to be your all, they're going to disappoint you one day, and when that happens, you will be miserable.
Yeah.
You will be. That's just
true.
a fact. So expecting someone to make you happy will not happen. Should they add value and happiness to your life? Absolutely. But is that expectation for them to bring the love and happiness? No. It's not.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't always work that way. No.
It does not work that way, because none of us are perfect. So to put that expectation on someone else is not reasonable and will not play out the way you plan.
You guys, there's always something comes in my head. It's like, okay, let's say a guy, right? Somebody says that some people don't have like a father figure in their life, and they find that in a man, in a relationship. Do you see that?
I do.
Yeah.
That is what with my last person, that is what the case was. Yeah.
Oh, really? So do they relationship always fall? Do they relationship do they always fall into the wrong relationship or the wrong man?
They find themselves repeating patterns. So for example, the person I just worked with, she found from our working together, found herself repeating patterns in different relationships that she didn't know kind of, started based off of her relationship with her dad.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of things we just do like, oh, I don't know why I'm doing this, but there's a root cause to everything that we do until we step back. It's sorry. Step back and really evaluate that. So a lot of the things that we do now stem from our childhood, the way our moms, were treated, the way our dads treated our moms, the way we observe, especially in the African home. Like there's a lot of that shapes us as who we are now today, that if we don't step back and address some of those things, we may be like, oh, I don't want to do that, and be the extreme opposite, right? Or you try and find that balance, and it's hard because that's all you know, that's all you've seen.
Because like if you like some people say, I used to date a guy a long time ago. He always said, I grew up seeing my dad putting his hand on my mom because my mom doesn't act right. So I was like, but that's not okay. So him growing up seeing that, and he also stopped doing that with his wife, it just made me like, wow, it is true, you know? Like when you grow up seeing stuff. But I was thinking that maybe you were like, oh, I'm going to do better. I'm not going to be like my dad.
Yeah.
But instead, it repeats itself.
Yeah. Exactly. So for some people, it could be like, hey, I saw my dad beat my mom, I'm not going to do that. And it's a complete 360 because they see what happened to their mother and they don't want that for themselves. And then you see the opposite, like what you said, where it's like maybe they want to break the cycle, but again, that's all they've seen, that's all they've known. And then the cycle repeats.
In his head, it's like if a woman did wrong, you have to set them
how
straight.
Exactly.
Which is like, no.
No, yeah.
So we're talking about how the woman who doesn't have a father figure in their life end up trying to find that in the man that they date. Does that also happen for men as well? Like, let's say a man doesn't have the mother in their life, they don't have any mother figure in their life, or even if they do, they don't know what it was. Or let's say, a man who's completely raised by somebody else and not raised by their mother. Do they find that love to a woman, thinking, okay, if I be with this person, will make me happy,
Right. So I think we see that a lot of that even in our African American community, right? So we see a lot of homes where it can be a single mother raising them. I think we see more of that versus a single dad, So with that being said, a lot of things, again, what we experience and see will still trickle somehow down the road. So if you're not having a mom around, makes it hard for you to know how to love exactly. That's feasible, But I guess given what we see more often is as dad not being around and mom being the one who has to be strong. So a lot of our male figures, that's what they've grown up with. Women who are tough, they've had to raise how many kids on their own and stuff. So that also in a way will shape the mindset of who that man is, how they see women, how they relate with women, how they respect women, or even their own character as a man, like how it builds them up, So everything trickles back to our experiences, our childhood, even school, what the teacher said to us. If we don't address a lot of these things, they can still have an effect with us as we grow up.
That's true. Because I see somebody who's like, oh, I never had a mom in my life, so every woman I date, I expect them to be this way or this way. I'm like, if you never have a mother in your life, how can you expect that woman to give you that motherly love?
Right.
You're supposed to love that woman, cherish them, but he's like clueless, don't know how to love a woman because he doesn't have that in his life.
Right.
So with you saying that's like having a single mother, raising a child, they see the hard work that their mother putting in and out, day in, day out.
Yep.
So they're like, okay, I have to love, I have to cherish women, I have to be there. And you can see that a lot in the African American community, and sometimes you can see it in the African community, but it's not a lot of a man who knows how to love a woman in the African community.
Yep.
They always think that the woman should be obey to them.
Yep.
You know, it's like what I say goes. I'm the man of the house.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? So
that cringes my body.
it's like I'm the man, you're the woman. You have to do what I say. And it's like most of the time those relationships don't last long.
So this is what a lot of people miss, and it just I am a faith believer, a Christian background and stuff. So they always, I feel like a lot of Africans and just a lot of people too in relationships use the whole word of respect and how a man needs to be respected, you know, and whatnot. But at the same time, it says like men are called to love their wives. You know, so for men it's respect, for women it's love. They're interchangeable. Respect is love, love is respect.
Yes.
So as much as the men are calling for the women to respect them, the same is required for them to love the woman. So when those two are paired together, that's a healthy relationship. Yes. And that's the missing piece. I feel like a lot of the African men are failing to love their wives.
Yes.
You know, and the love is not how
again.
you want to show them. It's how the woman wants to be loved.
Yes.
So you have to be willing to learn their love language. We talked about those 5 love languages. What is your wife, your partner's love language? And deliver as much as she will respect you in the same form. Yes. So that's a big problem in our African community. Huge. And it needs to be addressed. Love and respect are interchangeable. Men, you gotta love your wife, and women respect, but it goes both ways.
Yes, I like that. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I'm your girl Fati J with Fast Fashion. Like I say today, it's nothing about fashion, it's all about relationship. But we can talk about our looks for today. So, like I said earlier, I'm wearing yellow because mine is endometriosis month, and I'm just putting this little red blazer over it. And what are you wearing today?
I'm wearing my favorite color.
Oh, okay.
Which is purple. Purple makes me feel at peace. It makes me feel warm inside. So there's something about purple that I love wearing, and that's why I wore it today. So I could be cool and calm, because I am usually not on the front stage, you know. Before I came, I'm like, ooh, I'm not ready for this.
And she looked gorgeous, beautiful. You look really good in that outfit.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time. Do you have anything else to say?
I want to say thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure. And I look forward to this. Some more.
Thank you. I really like this. I think we should... I might have her hair back. I might have her back again next time, ladies, so we can have more conversations. So we're gonna have you guys engage, come with questions. I see somebody, your phone is dead, but somebody was, engaged and saying that they really, really like the conversation. And this is something that we need to talk about more, because there's a lot of women and a lot of men out there in a relationship that they have no clue how to love their wife. They have no clue how to love their husband. So they think that the man is always right, which, like to say, love and respect goes both ways. So see you guys next time.